Imagine two people attending the exact same family gathering. One arrives driving an old car, still figuring life out, still struggling financially. The other arrives after building a successful business worth millions. Same family, same last name, same childhood memory. But somehow, the room reacts differently. The conversations feel different. The respect feels different. The expectations feel different. And whether people want to admit it or not, success changes family dynamics in ways most people never talk about. Today, we're diving into how family treats you at every level of success, from having almost nothing to becoming extraordinarily successful. The support, the criticism, the pride, the jealousy, the expectation, the pressure, and the surprising truth about what happens when the people who knew you before success suddenly have to adjust to the person you've become. And trust me, the higher you climb, the more complicated it gets. Let's begin. At the very beginning, when you're struggling, family usually sees you through the lens of potential. Maybe you're working a low-paying job. Maybe you're still in school. Maybe you're trying to start a business. Maybe you're simply trying to figure life out. At this stage, family often gives advice freely, sometimes too freely. Everyone has opinions. You should do this. You should do that. Get a safer job. Stop taking risks. Think realistically. And while some of that advice comes from love, much of it comes from fear, because people naturally project their own experiences onto others. If they've never built something unusual, your ambitions may seem unrealistic to them. At this level, family support often sounds like caution, not because they want you to fail, because they want you to avoid pain. Now let's move up. You start making progress, nothing dramatic. Maybe your income improves. Maybe your career starts gaining momentum. Maybe your business finally begins working. Suddenly the conversations change. Family members who once questioned your decisions start saying things like, "I always knew you'd do well." The criticism becomes softer. The encouragement becomes louder. Success has a strange way of making people rewrite history. The same ideas that once sounded risky begin sounding smart. The same goals that once sounded unrealistic begin sounding impressive. People don't just react to results. They react to evidence, and success provides evidence. Now let's enter a higher level. You've become genuinely successful. Maybe you're earning more than most people in your family. Maybe you're the first person in your family to achieve a certain level of financial success. This is where things become interesting, because success doesn't just change your life. It changes your position inside the family. People begin asking for advice. They ask about money, careers, investments, business, life decisions. The person who once received guidance becomes the person giving it. And at first, that feels rewarding. You enjoy helping. You enjoy sharing what you've learned. You enjoy making life easier for people you care about. But then something unexpected happens. Expectations begin growing. Family starts assuming you're capable of solving problem, financial problem, business problem, emergency problem. Suddenly your success becomes visible, and visible success attracts requests, not because people are selfish, because when someone appears capable, people naturally turn toward them. This is where many successful people begin feeling pressure. Not pressure from strangers, pressure from people they love. Now let's move higher. You've built substantial wealth. Maybe you're a millionaire. Maybe you've achieved complete financial freedom. Maybe you've built a company. Maybe you've accumulated significant assets. At this level, family treatment often splits into different directions. Some family members become incredibly proud. They celebrate your achievements. They feel inspired. They tell stories about your success. Your accomplishments become part of the family's identity. But not everyone responds that way. Some people become uncomfortable. Not openly, quietly, because success changes comparison, and comparisons affect relationships. The cousin who once felt equal may now feel behind. The sibling who once competed with you may suddenly feel insecure. The friend-like relative may begin acting differently, not because they dislike you, because success creates contrast, and contrast can be emotionally difficult. This is one of the hidden costs of success. The more your life changes, the harder it becomes for some relationships to remain exactly the same. Now let's talk about money. Because eventually, success and money become connected in people's minds. The moment family believes you're wealthy, something subtle happens. People stop seeing your income. They start imagining your income. And imagination is usually inaccurate. Someone making good money becomes rich. Someone who's financially comfortable becomes loaded. Someone who's successful becomes able to afford anything. And that creates expectations that often have nothing to do with reality. Family members may assume you're doing better than you actually are. They may underestimate your responsibility, your taxes, your risk, your stress, your obligations. Success often looks simpler from the outside than it feels on the inside. Now let's discuss one of the most difficult parts: learning when to help. Because successful people often want to help their families. That's natural. If you've built something meaningful, you want the people you love to benefit too. You want to solve problems, you want to create opportunity, you want to make life easier. But eventually, many successful people discover something important. Not every problem should be solved with money. Sometimes financial help creates dependence. Sometimes it creates resentment. Sometimes it creates expectations. And sometimes it damages relationships unintentionally. This is why many wealthy individuals become extremely thoughtful about how they help. They learn that support and rescue are not the same thing, and that lesson is often painful. Now let's move to an even higher level of success, the level where money is no longer a problem, the level most people dream about. At this stage, family dynamics often become surprisingly complicated because trust becomes more important. You begin wondering, do they enjoy spending time with me, or do they enjoy what I can provide? Do they value me or my success? Do they respect my character or my financial position? These questions aren't always fair, but they're common because the larger the gap becomes between your lifestyle and everyone else's, the harder it becomes to know exactly how people see you. And yet, the most successful people often discover something unexpected. The relationships that matter most usually have very little to do with money. The strongest relationships survive every income level. They existed before success, and they remain after success. They aren't built on status, they're built on trust, respect, history, and genuine care. Which brings us to the biggest lesson of all. Family doesn't simply change because you become successful. Success reveals what was already there. Support becomes more visible. Jealousy becomes more visible. Pride becomes more visible. Insecurity becomes more visible. Success acts like a spotlight. It amplifies existing dynamic. And that's why some families become stronger after success, while others become more complicated. At the end of the day, success can buy comfort. It can buy opportunity. It can buy freedom. But it can't automatically create healthy relationships. Those are built long before money enters the picture. So if you're still building your future today, remember this, the goal isn't just to become successful. The goal is to become successful without losing the people who matter, because money changes many things, but the quality of your relationship will always determine the quality of your life. And maybe that's the lesson most people only understand after they've already made it. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more deep dives into money, psychology, success, and the hidden realities behind modern life. And comment below, how do you think success changes family relationship?